Southampton give me the impression that they are just a stepping stone. Players and managers use the club as a vehicle to move up the Premier League hierarchy. When I think about Southampton, I just feel like there were many different managers that tried countless tactics, trying many different things on very different players. Nigel Adkins guided the Saints into the Premier League after a 7-year absence. After a string of poor results, with the club spending majority of its time in the relegation zone, the club parted ways with Atkins and brought in Maurizio Pochettino on the 18th of January 2013 to oversee them during the final third of the season. Personally, I think Pochettino was appointed to save them from relegation, as they still had to face a few of the Premier League heavyweights and probably didn't fancy Atkins to do a good enough job. The managerial change couldn't have gone any better. Southampton beat Manchester City, Chelsea, and Liverpool at home, scoring 8 goals and conceding just 3. To put things into better perspective, City and Chelsea ended the league in second and third place respectively, whilst Liverpool had scored 12 goals in their 3 fixtures preceding their trip to the South Coast. Absolutely phenomenal, considering the Southampton forward line consisted of Ricky Lambert, Jay Rodriguez, and Jason Puncheon. At the end of the season, the Saints finished 14th. Ahead of the 2013-14 season, the club spent heavily, breaking their record transfer fees spent twice. First, it was on Victor Wanyama, and then on Danny Osvaldo. They also signed Dejan Lovren. All 3 players for a combined £36 million. Throwback to simpler times. They started the season very well and sat third after their first 9 games. By the time Christmas arrived, they had slumped to 9th place, but after a strong finish to the season, they finished in 8th spot. Their defense was shocking. It only conceded 46 goals in 38 Premier League games. This is a back four consisting of Luke Shaw, Jose Font, Dejan Lovren, and Nathaniel Klein. Liverpool, who finished second that year, conceded more goals. Southampton scored 54 goals, with Lallana, Lambert, and Rodriguez accounting for 37 of those. It was around this time that we really saw Premier League clubs ravage Southampton for their players, led by Liverpool, of course. Lallana, Lamberts, and Lovren left that same window to Liverpool, with Manchester United snapping up Luke Shaw. Pochettino left the Saints after some hugely impressive work and was replaced by Ronald Koeman. No doubt, it would have been a massive task given the number of first-team players who went for the door. Koeman freshened up the attack with headline signings like Dusan Tadic, Graziano Pelle, Shane Long, and Sadio Mane. The centre-back pairing of Loni Alderweireld and Jose Font, with Ryan Bertrand and Nathaniel Klein, proved virtually impenetrable. They finished the season conceding 33 goals in 38 Premier League games. That's just illogical. That's one more than the Premier League winners Chelsea conceded over the entire season. Furthermore, they outscored Liverpool by 2 goals and finished an impressive 7th. What was happening on the South Coast? Southampton were again very busy in the transfer window. They secured the services of Jordi Clasie, Oriol Romeo, Charlie Austin, Virgil van Dijk, and brought in Cedric Soares to replace the Liverpool-bound Nathaniel Klein. They started the 2015-16 season poorly and were 18th after their opening 3 fixtures. By Christmas, the club was in 12th spot. The club found a second win come the turn of the year. Goalkeeper Fraser Forster won the Premier League Player of the Month for his performances in February 2016. Southampton ended the season scoring 14 goals in their final 4 fixtures. This catapulted them into 6th place a mere 3 points behind Manchester United, to whom they had a superior goal difference. This is from a team that had just completed their fourth season in the Premier League, wherein they saw three different managers and multiple first team players leave. The next few seasons were turbulent for Southampton. They underwent three further managerial appointments in the 3 seasons before the club finally settled on RB Leipzig's Ralph Hasenhüttl. I think the Austrian is really happy with the team and seems to have bonded with them really well. He reminds me of how Daniel Farke is with his Norwich team and how Pochettino was with Spurs. They really have connected well. He was appointed as Mark Hughes' successor on the 5th of December 2018. In the 2019-20 season, they scored 51 goals and finished in 11th place. Ahead of the season, they confirmed the permanent transfer of Danny Ings after an initial season-long loan. Danny Ings, at the prime age of 27, was in the form of his life. After an injury-free season, he missed out on the Golden Boot by 1 goal, with a final tally of 22 to his name. He really encapsulated centre-forward play in the season and looked like Ricky Lambert and Jamie Vardy in one. Their midfield comprised Ward-Prowse, Højbjerg, Romeo and Redmond. Højbjerg was their CDM, however it was Ward-Prowse who appeared to have done the dirty work, committing 57 fouls, which was the second highest in the league. Ward-Prowse committed 92 tackles compared to Højbjerg's 80. Despite this, he was able to convince Mourinho he was worthy, and another saint has moved on. In the 2020-2021 season, they scored 47 goals. This is as much as 10th placed Everton. Ings finished as the club's highest scorer, but Che Adams and James Ward-Prowse pitched in with 9 and 8 respectively. I really like what Hasenhüttl has done in the midfield. Under him, they seem to be able to retain the ball very well and play some short creative passes before releasing it to one of their attackers. I rank Ward-Prowse very highly and have been singing his praises for years. He hits such a rich vein of form and has really linked up well with Stuart Armstrong in the last season. I think these two players need to be a bit more selfish during this campaign, and I'd like to see them taking the shot on themselves. Southampton generally deploy a 4-4-2. In the nets, they have Alex McCarthy. I'm sure they will set up with Ryan Bertrand, Vestergaard, Bednarek and Walker Peters. Their midfield includes Oriol Romeo, Stuart Armstrong, James Ward-Prowse, and either Redmond or Walcott. In all fairness, I think they'll bring Walcott and Musa Djenepo on as substitutes. Up front is Che Adams and Danny Ings. I'm not convinced that Adams is the one for them, and I highly doubt Ings will go the entire season without getting injured. I think they will survive relegation, but I think 14th is their highest possible finish. Whilst I understand that Southampton is Southampton, I'm starting to question the club's ambition. I am certain they are flushed with cash. They have sold their top talent season after season, with the clubs paying some serious euros. Van Dijk went for 85 million euros, Mane was 40 million euros, Shaw was 37 million euros, Schneiderlin 35 million euros, Lallana 31 million euros, Lovren 25 million euros. Then there is the Premier League money. It is no secret that if you play in the Premier League, you get £100 million straight up. They're going into their 10th consecutive season, which means they've effectively collected £1 billion. Then there's the additional payments depending on where you finish. Southampton have finished in the top half in 4 of their 9 seasons. They are also holding on to 26-year-old Ward-Prowse, who looks like a certain Chelsea player. I am just not sure what the club's ambitions are. Until we meet again.